Want to rise above what holds you back? These are the stories of those fighting that battle. It might also be the story of you. I'm Dan Waldschmidt, author of Edgy Conversations and strategist of billion-dollar companies all over the world. This is Mark Menard, author of The Story of You, the guy who knows a thing or two about never giving up. You're listening to Elevating Beyond. Let's get started.
Might have 5 or 6, but you need to know, do your kids possess a teachable spirit? Yeah. And you know deep down inside who has the aggressive spirit,
yes,
and who has the teachable spirit.
And there's different levels of kids. My son now, who's 17 and 240 pounds.
Wow.
It's a different type of confrontation. Like, okay, let me get the wooden spoon. And you don't want to be even doing, but it's...
He might take the wooden spoon from you and use it.
I don't mean to, I'm not trying to suggest brutality by no means.
But I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. But it's almost like you got to blend... You got to blend the best of everything together. It's like not just the I told you so, but also not too much of, oh, let me over-explain it to you 500 times. And, like, I know I met one couple that told me they don't use the word no to their kid. And I'm like, I can't even, I'm getting so mad. Like, God, talk to you. I'm getting so mad at these parents. Yeah. Don't. When your kid wakes up in prison one day or gets into the real world and tries to work for me, and I fire him because he isn't doing it the right way. I'm like, no, you can't. And he starts throwing it. No one tells me no.
Right.
And I'm like, you're not. In my head, I'm thinking, I'm not going to get into this. I'm thinking you're actually doing a disservice as a parent. So we're not saying to be on the end of beating them all the time and just saying because I told you so, but also not to be on the end of, you got to find a middle ground.
A prime example of that.
Is that, would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. The prime example of that is our athletes. They started getting recruited in now elementary, junior high. By high school, they already got a good beat on where they're going and what's not and how important they are, how impactful they're going to be. So all that time, you tell a kid no. And then all of a sudden, all that time you tell a kid he's not doing anything wrong. It's okay. And if he does do something wrong, we're going to fix it. If I can use Maurice Claret as an example, he went through a very hardship time. And now he's a prolific speaker.
Yeah.
I look forward to working with him.
Trussell became like a father figure to him.
Yeah. So Maurice, if you're listening to this, I look forward to meeting you. But he has a very unique story.
I'm going to be I'm planning on getting him on the show.
Oh, well, that would be an excellent opportunity.
Yeah.
Because he shares his story.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling him it's okay, we got you, and no one's saying no. So by the time that you get to a point where you finally do say no, that's almost like a foreign language.
Well, then I think there's another good example there of making it to a certain level of success and still trying to hang back with the old crew, whatever it may be, of people that are pulling you down into let's sell guns, and then thinking, am I being a sellout if I'm not hanging out with them? But the truth is, you can love people, but if you don't learn to cut them out, that's a pure example. He ended up blowing his whole career and went back to selling guns and doing that because and it just starts little steps of having a phone call, talking to, and I remember being there.
What if he had that guy there too? As you're falling, there's plateaus in your career as you're falling. As you go up, as you ascend, you come down, and there's points that you're going to see different people as you fall back down that they could have interjected or did try to say something to you, but you couldn't hear them. I mean, even what you mentioned earlier on, Mark, with the cell phones. Now, cell phones are a form of mass communication. If you hear something happens at your kid's school and they got that cell phone and they can call you, that'll set your mind at ease, or even hearing their voice let you know you can immediately identify the level of urgency. So in that case, having the cell phone is good.
Absolutely.
But you just got to make sure whatever you put in their hand, whatever tool or instrument you use you allow a kid to use, there's rules and guidance and guidelines that come along with that.
Yeah.
You're not to use this phone in school. If I call you or you call me and everything like that, this is the times to use it. So whatever you're giving them, whatever tool you're giving them in life, you got to make sure that you explain the rules and regulations that go along with this tool.
Absolutely.
And if they abuse it, then you take your phone away. But
and it's leadership. What you're both describing parenting as leadership.
It's
different because there's it's your kid and they're with you.
Well, I wanted to interject, Mark, real briefly, and what I'm hearing both of you and Daniel saying about parenting is, and discipline comes in two forms. Always keep that in mind. Discipline can come in the form of correction, punishment, or discipline can come in the form of teaching. So when your kids are past that age barrier of correction or punishment, like you said, you had a son that's 240 pounds. Right. Then you have to.
Yeah, it's almost 18.
18. Well, of course he can't
deal with a 7-year-old.
Yeah, with the wooden spoon anymore. So he's going to have to go in the teaching form of discipline, where he's going to be more so the mentor of the parent as a parent to their kids. So you have to know which area to enter into as far as the kids, and I just wanted to interject on that and say
it's true.
And
it's kind of like meeting them where their mindset is, and
yeah, because that's one thing that I speak about in this book, My Father's Business, when I talk about the wrath of Jesus, because remember when Jesus he was angry when he went inside the temple and he saw the religious leaders they were selling their products at a costly price, and people were living in poverty at that time, and they were getting over on the people.
They were just using the church to make. They were just using it as a store. They just
storefront,
scamming people. Yeah,
people that couldn't afford pigeon doves and so forth, or turtle doves, and they were overpricing it. So he made a cord into a whip, and he cleaned house. But those are the two type of discipline forms that I speak about in this book, My Father's Business. And you can actually purchase this book on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Once again,
and I'll have the link to it too. And that cord into I love every time I read that. I love that because I don't know if you guys seen that movie Indiana Jones, but I imagine. Talk about, that Jesus went beast mode on him. My grandma's breaking the switch. Jesus is whittling up a whip.
Cleaning house.
If my grandma would have had that, I would have been like, come here.
Oh, yeah.
We called them willows. Yeah. We had a willow bush. Mysteriously got poisoned, man.
Well, there's two sides to God. And it's God has that loving side that everybody wants to be on, that grace and mercy side. But there's another side of God. That God has that wrath side, as we know about in Exodus when he destroyed Pharaoh through the Red Sea, and he brought the 10 plagues on Egypt. So we have to keep in mind that God is a loving God. He prefers to operate out of love. But at the same time, if you exhaust the grace, which it takes a lot to exhaust grace of God, then God, he will become judgmental and judge you at the end of your life. So.
It's really all out of love. A lot of times, some of the worst adversity, it's like as a parent, it's not like you enjoy if you spank your kid or something. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're doing the discipline because you love them and you want to, and you know they can be a better version of themselves. And I believe, like when I went to jail and I'm with my face smashed and beat down, I realized God did that because he loved me, and that became pivotal to change, scared me so much to start changing my life, because he knew I love you so much, I got better for you. I love you enough to you get the crap beat out of you so bad.
Yes.
And I don't think he was up there smiling like, yeah, come on, kick his butt. Like, it's like a father. And like you're saying, there's two sides to it. But then also what we've been talking about with parenting, if we're using God as an example, which we should be,
right.
If he's showing us that there's both sides of this love, we need to be, our responsibility as parents is to be doing this, because it's not whether you raise good kids, it's whether you raise them to become good men or women of character.
Yes.
Right. And as you went through that ordeal, one thing's for sure, I'd rather deal with the fact that my child has been bruised up versus getting that phone call saying my child's never going to come home again.
Yes, that's true.
So
that's true.
I'd much rather deal with that. But as we say, ultimately, as your kids are going to test the water.
Absolutely.
They're definitely going to don't touch that hot pot. Well, why? And one of the things that I think that is so poignant when we teach, when you come to the Q Daniel Crease Multicultural Center, as I bring mentors in, we had a great summer summit, and I had a former state representative speak.
Yes,
I have a current NFL football player speak. I have a current Golden Gloves boxer spoke to the kids, and I had a violin virtuoso. This young man plays the violin, and you would think it was an angel. And bringing those different people, as I go around and speak and to kids, I always have somebody tell me they want to be a pro, they want to be a basketball player, some rappers or what have you. And there's nothing wrong with aspiring to be those great things, but you also have to understand there's work that comes along with that.
So much work.
Parents, what they're sharing with you, they're training you for what your next life is to come, because it starts with listening.
Yes, sir.
Can you listen?
Yes, sir.
And
so
can you
work
share
that comes with
what you just heard? I often tell my kids, after I say what I need to say to them, I tell them, what did I tell you? What did I just say? Explain back to me what I said to you.
Yeah.
Because I want to see if you're really listening. So can you do that? I often do that at work. When I have somebody I'm directing or what have you, I have someone at the center, I said, I want to make sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you understand what I just said to you. So could you repeat back what I said, how you understood it? Because some people legitimately are listening, but they understand it differently. A lot of young people think that, oh man, that'll never be me. I can't do that. I can't reach it. You don't say what you can't do. You may not be able to do it right now, but you get in a leadership program. You follow a gentleman like Mark and a gentleman like Elder Lopes here. You look where we've come from. It's not luck. It's a matter of prayer. It's a matter of hard work. It's a matter of education. So you have to insert yourself. If you want to be something, you got to do something. Now you just got to find out what that something is, and find people who know what they're doing and can guide you. Because that's what this is about. Navigating your way through the world. It takes help. You hear the saying, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes,
it truly does. I just buried. I just went to a funeral of a lady that she was a beautiful mother, but she also the love that she had for her kids extended beyond her home to other kids that were in the neighborhood and everything like that. So that comes from back in the day. If you did something wrong, well, Miss Jones could give you a spanking and then take you home, tell your parents what you did, and they would spank you.
Yeah. Yes.
But unfortunately, times have changed. We have a lot of monsters out here that have just totally reshape the landscape of what parenting and what good neighboring is.
Yes.
So you have to be protective of your kids. So you have to equip them as much as you possibly can and insulate them around good people, whether it's in your home, outside your home, you can direct. So
absolutely,
just getting involved with these different organizations, like Elder Lopes, Mark, I tip my hat to you, because not only have you done it, you put your work in books so you can share. Yes. This very show is a godsend, so it can share to multiple viewers of the trials and tribulations of an individual and the graduation of point A to point Z. And now he's starting over with an AA, a BB. You may not have the plan, but you have to have a plan to get to that plan. So, in other words, you're going to have to get educated. What do you want to be? You want to be a pro ball player? You want to be an author? What have you? How do you become that? Do you know one? I always ask kids, if you want to be something, do you know someone that's doing it?
So study. And so what I always tell them too is, if you don't personally, because they're like, well, you don't get it. You have so-and-so on your show. I didn't start by having anyone on. It started by me. So it's read the story. You don't have to personally know Michael Jordan, but read his story behind the story of when he didn't make the sophomore basketball team and got cut. Went home and cried.
That's right.
Started shooting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shots, so there were calluses on his hand. They were bleeding. You can look up golfers that have the best drive, and you don't see them getting up at 4 a.m. doing it till their hands were bleeding. You'll see this same correlation of they weren't just born with the talent and the skill.
That's right.
And I think the more if you can get to know someone as a mentor, be around them, it's amazing. And get to know this is all about, like, you hear the story behind the story.
Right.
Like you were just talking about the congressman.
Ray Miller.
having Ray Miller come to your multicultural center is doing the same thing. It's giving back because he's sharing. I believe when you get to a level, then your next responsibility is you're responsible for sharing the wisdom that you've gained.
Exactly.
And that means sharing not just the good, it's getting into the struggles and telling them, I got through this.
That's right.
So can you.
Absolutely. And then you don't have to get it the same way. But go ahead. I don't want
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to interject. When you were talking about how the incident that God allowed you to go through the school of hard knocks to and it was tragic. It was tragic, of course, but that's what I call attention getters. Just like God had to do something to get Moses' attention through the burning bush, and that was an attention getter to get you focused off yourself as a young lad and get you more focused on him. And what me and Daniel both agreed on, actually me and Daniel witnessed a car accident on the freeway coming here to this program show this morning. The image in my mind, this what kind of car was it again? It was a gray sports Camaro, and they were speeding, and we were on the freeway, and it sped out of control.
And it's icy out there, so everyone watching this too to know we're in Columbus, Ohio. It's winter time. It's almost it's icy roads.
It was truly. I got distracted momentarily. I was driving, and Daniel coached me. Said stay focused on the road. Make sure you stay in your lane. And see, that's the area, because my eyes started, when I saw the person hit the wall and their feet was dangling from the windshield.
Out the window.
The window. It was a female. It was a female. My first instinct was to slam on the brakes and jump out and help this woman.
But then
I would have got hit because we were caught in traffic, but it happened right in front of us. God is our witness. It was truly a miracle that we made it here safely today, and by the grace of God, we thank God for that. But I just wanted to say, your incident with you, that was a attention getter that God used. My incident was a little bit different that God used to get my attention. And real briefly, when I was young, I lost my vision in my left eye when I was a teenager in high school. Completely blind in my left eye. So everything I do vision-wise is out of my right eye. I was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome at an early age. They said statistically people with Marfan's don't live past the age of 21. And by the grace of God, I'm 48 now.
Wow.
Actually there's a basketball player that was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome as well. Used to play college basketball. I believe his name was Isaiah. He was a center that was about to be drafted, but he was not able to be drafted in the NBA because of that condition. But I had open heart surgery in the year of 2000. They repaired a mitral valve between my upper and lower chamber of my heart.
Yeah.
And I remember laying there in the hospital bed, and I was having all these visions and these dreams, and
I think like this has been great always with both of you too. It's been an honor. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
And I just want everyone to listen though. I love it. I relate to anyone that can be real and share adversity and transparency. And everyone listening, you're gonna go through something. And I think the most important thing that we're all talking about is all of us, we go through struggles, but your story doesn't end there.
No.
Like that struggle is what transforms you to keep persevering. Like you have to learn to keep persevering,
elevating beyond,
and fighting that good fight.
That's right.
And then that's right. And then keep taking it to the next level and never settle. So I was gonna say, never give up.
That's right.
And keep
elevating beyond.